Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing a project featuring some brand new products from the stamp market, and let me just tell you, I am totally in love with these products. Now, this is just a few of the products that they released just today, but let me tell you, they are all amazing. The jumbo plaid background there on the right-hand side is, I can't even. Then there's the Beyond Grateful there on the left and the Joyful Blooms stamp and cut set there in the middle. Now this is the scallop border die combo here. And let me just tell you, this is super cool because it has one that will cut your paper with a scalloped edge. It has one that will just leave some dotted patterns in your paper without cutting your paper. And then it has one that will cut this really thin little scalloped detail that you can put on your card, and I'll be using that today. But the first thing I'm going to do is load my jumbo plaid background into my MISTI, and I am going to ink it up with some VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink and stamp it onto some heavyweight neenah Solar White cardstock. Now, this is a brand new stamp, so I was not expecting to get a great stamped image on my first try. I think that stamps have to be seasoned a little bit before you get a really great impression, and you're going to see that I missed a couple of spots by, I didn't add pressure all the way around. That's okay. I'm using the MISTI. I'll just load it back into that lower right-hand corner. I will re-ink my stamp and I will stamp it again. And I did end up stamping this background on several different sheets of paper so that I have more to use in the future. And you can see this time I'm just using a cloth to rub over the top of that. And the stamp actually picked the paper up, and I used that to my advantage, and I just rubbed over the back of the paper, and you can see I have that beautiful plaid image. Now, I'm going to make sure that I clean this stamp really well. So I started by wiping down the stamp with a baby wipe. But sometimes this VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink can stick around, and I can see myself stamping this in lots of other beautiful colors in the future, so I'm going to give it a good bath. And I'm using the Hero Arts Ultra Clean to do this, and I just sprayed it right on my stamp, and then I'm wiping up the ink with a microfiber cloth. You could also use a baby wipe to wipe up that cleaner, but I like to use that microfiber cloth. Sometimes it can leave kind of an oily residue, so you just want to make sure you get all of the cleaner off of your stamp once you've cleaned it. So now that my background panels are ready, I'm going to take some images from the Joyful Blooms Stamp and Cut bundle, and I have them on my MISTI because I'm going to ink these and stamp these a couple of times. I am using the Hero Arts Fresh Lawn. Is that what it's called? Mowed lawn? Fresh lawn? It's a grass one. I don't know. I'm using that, and I'm stamping it onto some neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock. Now, I stamped the green ink twice, and now I am taking my VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink, and I'm just barely inking up the bottom, and I'm kind of dabbing away at the top of that ink line, and I'm going to stamp right over that. I am going to make kind of a gradient effect, and that black is really going to intensify the green at the bottom. Now, it looked really black, so I'm just going to take more of that green ink and I'm going to stamp right over the top. And this is going to help blend that black and green together. So I'm using the green ink pad, and I'm inking about 2/3 of the way up this stamp, and I'm doing this about 3 or 4 times. It goes really quickly, and I'm just continuing to stamp over the image that I already have. So then I have a lighter green at the top and a darker green fading into that black at the bottom. So now I'm taking the little bloom from this stamp set, and I'm stamping it in some Hero Arts Red Royal ink. And then I'm going to take the center of this flower and I'm going to stamp it in black. Now, I really like this Red Royal ink, but in the end, I ended up wanting to bring a little pink into this card, and I end up changing the blooms later on, so I'll show you that. But for now, I'm going to take the leaf detail images and I'm going to stamp them over the leaves in this Catherine Pooler Eucalyptus ink. Then I'll take the coordinating dies from this Joyful Bloom Stamp and Cut bundle, and I'm lining them up over those stamped images, and I'm holding the dies in place with some delicate surface painter's tape. Then I'm going to add this to my die cutting sandwich and run it through my Gemini Junior. Now I did quite a bit of die cutting because I stamped these several times. I like to have extra greenery on hand. I find that sometimes when I'm building like a bouquet, I need a lot more greenery than I expect. And so once I have those die cut, I'm going to stick them in a little tray. And then I am going to cut this scallop border. Now this is the one that creates the dainty little scallop. And look how beautiful this is. I die cut it from some Altenew gold foil cardstock, and I did that a few times. And now I am taking the tag die. This is from the Stamp Market tagged stamp and die set, and I am die cutting that plaid background with this tag die. I just thought that maybe the whole panel might be too much in that black and white, so I thought it would be fun to just have a tag die cut from this plaid background. Now, as a part of that tagged stamp and cut bundle, there are some stamps that kind of coordinate with it, and one of them is kind of this tag topper. So I've gone ahead and stamped that in some Altenew blush ink, and then I die cut around that, and I'm just going to trim that down with my trimmer. And then I'm going to add this blush piece to the top of my plaid tag. But I'm going to add a little bit of that gold Altenew cardstock there to the bottom of that pink piece, just to kind of help it transition and to bring in a little bit more gold. So I'm just using a little tape runner adhesive along the back of this, and I'm going to stack it up right over that plaid die cut tag, which is amazing. And then I'm going to add the little hole reinforcer here that I also die cut from that Altenew gold cardstock. Now I am taking and I'm kind of building my bouquet here. So I'm using several pieces of the greenery that I stamped and die cut. And I'm using a little foam adhesive to kind of keep this all together. And I'm going to have varying heights and dimension here. And I'm going to finish off that greenery grouping with one of these little red blooms. Now to decorate my tag, I thought these beautiful gold scallops would be perfect. So I am using a little Lawn Fawn glue tube here. I'm putting just dots of adhesive along the back of this really delicate scallop border, and I'm placing it along the bottom of my tag. And I decided to do 3 layers of this. So I'm just adding glue to each one of those layers and stacking them up along the bottom. And once I have them stacked up, I will take my scissors and just trim off the excess. And I can keep that excess for another project. You can see I still have a full scallop border there at the top right of my screen, so I have plenty of this left. And so this little scrap I decided to add to the bottom portion of that pink tag topper, which I just thought it was fun to kind of repeat this really delicate scallop over and over again. It is so beautiful in person. I can't even tell you. I love dainty die cuts like this. Now I'm taking a piece of Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. It's cut to 4 1/4 by 11. I'm scoring it at 5 1/2, and then I'm reinforcing the fold. And this is going to be my card base. And I am going to use this painted backdrop stamp from the Stamp Market. I'm inking it up in some Altenew blush ink, and I'm stamping it onto my card front. This is just going to give me a little bit of color and a little bit of texture on this background and help me bring that pink in another area. And you can see I did double stamp this stamp as well because I am using kind of a light ink, and I thought it needed just a little more depth of color. So now I'm taking my Joy sentiment here. I'm adhering it to a strip of vellum, and then I'm adhering that to my tag, and I'm just trimming the ends of that down. Then I'm going to use my scissors to cut this into a banner shape by cutting a slit up the center and then cutting from each corner to that center slit, and I did that on both sides of that vellum strip. Now I have some foam adhesive along the back of my tag, and I'm going to use that to adhere it to my card base, and you can see I put a little bit of twine through the top of that as well. And now I'm using some foam adhesive to adhere this little bouquet bundle that I created earlier right at the lower right-hand corner of my tag. Now, if I would have used a different color of red, I think I would have really liked this red and pink color combination. But that really dark maroon red was just not cutting it for me with the pink. So I decided to go back and restamp my blooms here. This time I'm using the Hero Arts Cotton Candy ink. I'm going to use the Gina K Amalgam ink once again for the centers of my flower. And this time, to give my flowers a little dimension, I'm going to use a colored pencil to add a little bit of shading around the center and kind of some lines of shading to the edge. Now, I have to tell you, in the pictures, it looks really sloppy, but in person, it looks really beautiful and it adds a lot of dimension to these flowers. And once I had replaced those red flowers with these little bit darker pink flowers, I was really thrilled with the way this card turned out. And you can see I added some sparkling clear sequins to this card as well for, because every card needs a little sparkle, right? So that completes my card for today, featuring some brand new products from the stamp market. I cannot get enough of this plaid background stamp, and I think I'll be using it over and over again. You may be able to tell in these images that I did add a little bit of sparkle pin over that joy sentiment, as well as to the center of my flowers, which adds another little touch of shimmer and shine. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, but head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. It'll be linked in the YouTube description as well. Over there, I'll have more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of my card making video tutorials. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.